I'm the Fantastic Stranger, and you are no stranger than I. If you want to find out why I'm the Fantastic Stranger, check out my Instagram in the link below. My name is Sean Mahoney, and I offer you a peek at the entertainment industry. With that said, let's dive right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, with me today, I have return guest Paul Carson. Paul is a comedian and has been kind of growing and getting a little bit more shows. So I kind of wanted to have him come back on before he gets too big for small fries like me.
Would never happen.
Paul, how you been?
I've been good, man. Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, it was awesome having you on last time. I was looking forward to a new chat with you.
Last time we talked about some of the projects you were doing and stuff too. You've been working on anything new?
I've just been doing some podcasts. I've been writing a couple scripts here and there, but life has a way of throwing curveballs, and you got to kind of work with it. So
Absolutely.
we're putting some projects on hold, and we're gonna make do with what we got.
Feel you there. Absolutely.
How about you? What have you been up to?
Speaking of curveballs, one a couple weeks ago, I was driving to an open mic in West Philly, and I got hit by a car fleeing from the police, a stolen vehicle. So that's
Oh,
just been like the past 3 weeks of logistics, figuring that out and trying to get a new car.
Jesus, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all good, but it certainly could have been worse. But it's just annoying that now my car is not.
Oh my God. Well, technically speaking, you did act as a hero and you did stop the fleeing cars, so.
That's what I like to think.
You just kind of pulled out and you're like, I'm Batman. And
Da, 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 it's involuntary, man.
there you go. So Paul, I have a couple questions for you today, if you don't mind, if you're up for it. So I wanted to ask you, what have you been up to since our first chat?
I've been leaning a bit more into like doing sketch type stuff and been having a lot of fun with that. I mean, obviously still doing the stand up all the time, but like really learning how to like get the most out of my green screen, do a little bit more writing on like slightly more short form sketches because I found that like with the more long form stuff, you're competing for people's attention span with just the endless scroll of TikTok. So I've tried to cater to that a little bit more. I don't know if you've experienced that. I know you do some more long form stuff. Have you tried to shrink it down, or have you just decided to be as good as possible with like the longer things?
I'm trying to be as good as possible with the longer things. I do know the sketches is definitely a big game on social media there. It's kind of hard to compete with so many people out there who's doing it too.
Mhm. It's been fun to like try to figure out like I do like having more substantial sketches and stuff. So it's been kind of fun to figure out the challenge of like, okay, I want this to be good and not just like attention grabbing bullshit, but there needs to be like something at the very beginning to hook. And it's kind of changed the structure, but I'm still trying to keep its integrity intact, so to speak. I don't know. I mean, there's not much integrity with my sketch. It's the most stupid bullshit in the world. So I shouldn't talk about it like, yes, the sanctity of this sketch about buttholes or whatever. But like,
Let me put it to you like this. Integrity online just does not exist anymore. There's no integrity online, man. I say go all out.
uh-huh. If anybody says the integrity of this sketch is lacking, I'll be like, but Sean said to do this.
It works. Just go with the flow.
Sean said you wanted to see this sketch about buttholes.
I said don't do the sketch about balls.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have very selective hearing. I hear every other word, and then I yeah.
You just heard the one word and you just go with it, right? Selective hearing. It's fine. It's fine. It's all
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing that I've been seeing with you is I've been seeing you getting a lot more shows as of late. You've been going all over the place and kind of just, you know, I guess branching out is the word to use in this. What is the biggest show that you have done so far?
Um, guess it this one was a little while back, but it was kind of like I had come up with a show with the group that I do on Wednesdays we do an open mic. It's called High Note Humor, and then like occasionally we'll put on showcases and the guy who's been there the longest, kind of our de facto leader, Noah, has been very good at like cultivating an environment of like coming up with creative shows and like just kind of like empowering people to come up with their own kind of like themed show. And
Oh wow.
I had come up with one a couple years ago now that was called post game comedy, and the premise of that was like honestly, it was originally supposed to be a sketch where I figured I'd talk on stage and then have a camera follow me down into the basement of the restaurant that we do it at,
Yeah.
and just have like almost like a surreal like press conference waiting for me downstairs to ask like post game questions about the set. And I really quickly realized that would be way too disruptive to the actual like open mic that was going on and like wildly inconsiderate. So I was like, oh, let me make this the show. Um, the premise of the show is like comics will come up and do a set, and then immediately afterwards, two reporters who have been like trying to come up with questions based on their set will go up on stage and they'll riff back and forth. So we did
That's
that, and we brought it to this was a couple years ago now, but we brought it to Helium Comedy Club in Philly, and it ended up
wow.
really well. So that was kind of a cool little highlight for sure.
Helium is a good spot to grow your audience and a good spot to really get there. That's a good step there.
Yeah, it was very cool to do it. It felt very exciting for sure.
These sketches that you do, how do you come up with them? Like, how do you guys come up with the ideas for them, and how do you like kind of put them together?
More often than not, it'll be like something that'll be like a premise that didn't fully fit for stand up, but like I just had like a silly mental image for it. And with video as a medium, as I'm sure you know, like there's so many levels to get like your input in there. There's the writing, there's the filming, there's the editing. So it kind of gives you a little bit more freedom as opposed to just saying words on stage. So like if it's a premise that won't work on stage, but I have a strong mental image of it, I'll go and make it a sketch. The challenging part is if it's more than just me in the sketch, pitching whatever weird idea to other people to be in it and get them on board. Thankfully, everybody's been accommodating, but I've found that the sketches that work the best are the ones that people don't fully understand on the pitch. Like, so that's I've taught myself like, oh, the more convoluted, like, don't be discouraged by a response of, I don't fully get it, but we'll do it because those end up being okay. And certainly the pitch is a kind of an entertaining point when getting other people on board.
I can only imagine the reactions when you give them the script and their parts that they're supposed to do.
Yeah, a lot of it is just like the script. I always found like, have you ever seen the show I Think You Should Leave? It's like
I
Tim.
have
Okay.
not.
No, doesn't matter. Anyway, a lot of the dialogue for that one is like they talk as if there's a gas leak going on or something in the building where it's just like a lot of dialogue that's just, oh, that's not how regular humans talk, but they just have like a wide innocence about them with it. And I really like that, so I try to throw that into dumb little scenarios.
That's great. That's great. Um, yeah, it's like you were saying, the convoluted part about writing scripts and sketches and editing, it's you're kind of worried about what the audience is going to think, and you're kind of worried about what other people are going to think. And sometimes it's just best to honestly just riff off of whatever idea you have and go with it because you might not do it, and then somebody else does and it takes off for them,
Uh-huh.
you know? So if you have an idea and you think it's good, write it, film it, script it, edit it, do what you got to do, post it, you
Hmm.
know? Taking inspiration from things to incorporate it is honestly a good way to go about it.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Like I said earlier, I've been seeing you get more shows and you're working with other people as well. What has it been like growing to this point? And what is something you've learned through all of this that you want to share with the audience?
It's kind of nice to keep, like, as I get some of these more opportunities to keep getting opportunities to be low man on the totem pole and like be the worst like comedian on a show or something. And that's kind of like how I've been learning is like, okay, maybe on some shows I'll be able to be like the most experienced or something. And now I'm in environments where I'm the least experienced or something. And it's kind of just like being able to pick people's brains has been cool. Like, yeah, like on a show where I get to work with a headliner who's probably been doing it for 30 years, my favorite thing to do is just like ask for specific advice. Like if I bombed that night or something, be like, hey, what do you think is the key to fixing that? Or how do I get out of this scenario? So that's one thing I've really been enjoying is like getting in rooms where I'm the least experienced person and just kind of trying to figure it out from there and level up that way.
When you're starting out, right, you want to learn from the people who's been doing it for the longest time, like you said, and getting to be mentored in that way is one of the best feelings ever. Criticism is your best friend.
Hmm.
Criticism is your best friend in growing, and it is just such a wonderful tool to be able to kind of overcome the anxiety of and kind of be able to learn from mistakes and learn how to grow from them.
Absolutely. And like a lot of people I've talked to are like, oh, I don't know what to say to like such and such headliner. I don't know how to relate or whatever. Because it can be intimidating. Some of these people come in with all this more experience and you don't know what to talk about or whatever. And some people like nervously will err on the side of just trying to make them laugh in like conversation, which I think after 30-year career probably is exhausting to have people just be like, joke, 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 joke. And honestly asking for advice like that, nobody's ever going to turn you away and be like, no, I'm not going to talk to you about that. I think it's in a way I imagine it would be like endearing and like you it's demonstrating humility. Nobody's going to turn you away when you're genuinely trying to get better and genuinely like going about it in a humble way. So I feel like that's a very helpful way to honestly build a friendship there too, because like you're not being some little annoying like ankle biting pest.
One of the biggest things that I've learned in this industry is the best way that you can do it is be kind and ask for help and ask for advice, like you said. It's knowledge,
Hmm.
you know. Um, there's people who I've worked with that's been in the industry for I don't know, 25 plus years working, and they've gotten to work on some of the great films that we all know and love. And the best thing that I can do for myself is ask them what I can do to better myself, what I can do to become a better cinematographer and a better podcaster and a better editor and all that stuff. And it helps. It truly does. Being afraid to ask for help is when you don't succeed.
Hmm.
It's that is the biggest part about growing is asking for help.
Uh-huh.
Um, who is the biggest person that you've been in the room with, like comedian wise?
I didn't really have a conversation with this person, but years ago, just being in the same green room, Shane Gillis used to host like there's every year there's a contest at the Helium in Philly called Philly's Funniest, and they have like previous winners host it. Um, so he was hosting one of the nights. So that was probably the biggest person I've ever like by definition been in the room with, but we didn't really interact or anything.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that was kind of cool. I'm trying to think like I haven't really interacted with somebody who's like I mean, I've interacted with people who are like very, very good, but not anybody who like I guess quote unquote big or like who was blown up or anything.
Okay. Wow. Hey, even some small interactions with people like that, that's great that you have that experience, and that's great that you get to sit in a room with the like-minded individuals like yourself who want to just stand up on stage night in and night out and make, like you said, make people laugh. Um, One of the most freeing things you can do is surround yourself with the same people who have the same passion and the same interest as you.
Mhm. How does that work in like with what you're doing? Like, is it? I know a lot of it's so self-motivated. Are there like writers' rooms or like get-togethers, or how does that work for you?
So believe it or not, one of the biggest things that I want to try and do this summer is I want to try and like find a place and start building a community for people who are in the industry and kind of just want to meet and share ideas and maybe kind of find work for that. So that is a big goal of mine that I kind of want to do. And the other thing that I can say is, yeah, they definitely do have meetings. My fiance just sent me over a free film class in New Jersey that teaches you camera operations, editing, production stuff. It teaches you all of that stuff, and they're gearing people up for the Netflix studio that's coming up
Oh
in
yeah,
New
they're
Jersey.
both in New Jersey. That's right.
Yeah. So that class is built towards preparing people for that.
That's really
Uh,
cool.
and then if you're interested in anything online, there's so many Facebook groups and New Jersey film groups, New Jersey podcast groups, YouTuber groups. There's so many communities like that that you can sit around and chat with,
Hmm.
you know. And at my job, my day job, there was just a writing club upstairs the other day, just sitting around writing for about an hour or two.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool. And it's right there. That's sweet.
yeah, right. So it's freeing to surround yourself with people to chat with something that nobody else understands.
And you
That you're
stretch the
interested in.
language and everything where you guys just know what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly, exactly. You talk to your circle and you say stuff like editing and podcasting and all this stuff, and it just goes right over their head. And it's been an honor getting to know people in this industry and to honestly have these passionate talks and these passionate like moments to understand and better everything.
Absolutely. And it's like puts a battery in your back, I'm sure.
It does. It does. Now, you sent me a clip on Facebook. You don't mind if I insert that here, right?
No, not at all. Go for it.
Perfect.
I recently decided I'm done dapping up people that are taller than me. Like, I don't mind the handshake part. I just don't like getting pulled in for the hug and having to cuddle my head in a grown man's bosom. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing? And listening till our hearts beat as one. It's way too intimate. So yeah, if you're taller than me, don't dap me up. Just tussle my hair and say, I'm proud of you, son.
And that was great, Paul. That was really funny.
Thanks, John. I enjoyed watching it with you. They're buying it.
Editing magic.
Netflix, here we come. Isn't it kind of ironic that they're building the new studios back in New Jersey? Like I think the whole reason I had heard that like Hollywood existed is because Thomas Edison was so litigious with like his filming and everything that like he thought that like not only was like his were his movies his intellectual property, he thought the medium of movie making was his intellectual property. So like they
Wow.
fled out to Hollywood to be as far away from Edison in New Jersey as possible. Like literally, so that he wouldn't, I guess there was, I mean, now the world's so interconnected, but
Oh
like
yeah.
they physically had to put distance between themselves and Edison to make movies, and that's why they went out to Hollywood. And now Netflix is building studios back in New Jersey. And, I guess they're just happy that man's dead.
Oh, he's been gone for over 100 years. It's fine, and
Yeah.
we can, defile his wishes.
We'll build the studio on top of the graveyard. He won't fuck us. It'll be fine.
I'm excited to see Netflix come in, and I'm excited for the biggest thing with New Jersey is the job market is struggling with New Jersey. It's hard to even get a job, so I'm excited to see something new and something fresh, especially for the film industry to kind of be on the East Coast a little bit more now. And with New Jersey, I think a lot of us independent artists in the industry, I think we're gonna really have a chance to grow and a chance to shine.
Absolutely. And I imagine even like residually, even if it's not like necessarily at the Netflix building, just having all that in the area, there's going to be so much more like an ecosystem of like independent people doing cool stuff, just drawn to the proximity of like that area. So I am excited to see how it develops.
I am too. The only thing that I'm concerned about is what does that mean for independent workers? You
Mm.
know, what does that mean in terms of film permits? What does that mean in terms of using public spaces? What changes? You
Interesting.
know?
It'll be less of a Wild West, and now they'll have to have like rules and guardrails in place that might make it tougher for you.
Yeah, yeah. So it's it kind of becomes a gray moral area of. Will the independent film companies succeed or will they go under because of Netflix?
Oh, so
It's
like a Walmart to Main Street type dynamic.
correct. Yeah. So whereas jobs are going to increase a little more, the chances of independence growing might hinder a little bit.
Mm.
So I'm really intrigued. I'm excited, and I'm a little nervous for the new Netflix studios to come out here.
Uh-huh. That's a
Uh,
point I hadn't even considered, but you're absolutely right.
are you planning on going out for it?
I hadn't been because I'm not much of a filmmaker or anything. But it's cool that it's in the area. I know recently there was like a Netflix house or something
Yeah, yeah.
showcase. What is that? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, so it's kind of like think like a mini theme park. We actually went there over the winter and it's needs some kinks worked out. I hope they worked out some of their kinks. The interactions that we had with we did the Wednesday Addams carnival thing there. It's kind of like a dark circus almost. I don't know if you watched Wednesday on Netflix.
I never did, but I heard it's good.
Okay, so on Netflix, Wednesday went to a carnival, and it just was kind of like a
I
gothy
never did, but I heard it's good.
vibe carnival, and they incorporated a whole set for it inside the Netflix house that you can walk around and play games and kind of have photo ops with the set. It was really cool, and then they have some like virtual reality stuff that you can do. So it's worth going there if you love the shows that it has.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So right now they're doing One Piece on Wednesday, and I think soon they're gonna be switching over to a more Stranger Things and whatever else kind of sets. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Mhm. Yeah, what is it in the city or is it kind of like it sounds like something that would take up a lot of space? Is it where'd they do it?
So they do it at the King of Prussia Mall.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then just throw Philly on that, like.
Pretty much. Yeah. Come to Philly.
Gotcha, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, hearing what you described, I didn't think that could fit inside of like a Philadelphia center city type place.
No, no,
A lot
not
of
at
stairs
all.
have to be built vertically.
So I wanted to ask you, you were talking earlier about how you worrying about doing some sketches and writing certain convoluted scripts out. How does that incorporate to you on stage? So, like, my question for you is like, what is a misconception of you that some people might have of you off stage? Like, what do they think your life is like off stage?
I haven't asked too many people about their perspective on that. I do know, so I can only guess, but I do know that my onstage like persona is a lot. it's slightly more like flamboyant and silly to a point where it's like a character, which I don't think anybody anticipates that being who I am off stage. But maybe they think I'm more in that direction, I guess, which in conversation, I guess I sort of am, just like to a lesser degree. So I don't know, maybe that would be it. I'm not sure. I mean, I do a lot of like act outs and stuff on stage, and I'm a bit more boisterous in real life and more reserved, I guess. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
So I've I've often thought at times the comedians are definitely the opposite that you see on stage. They're more like quiet and reserved, like you were saying. And that's funny that you say that because that reminds me of a quote. The funniest people are usually the quietest on the inside. And I think it's true. Like the quietest people always want to make you laugh and not make you worry about like your normal daily routine, you know? Like I think it's a great thing about comedians is you guys make us forget about the stress and the anxiety of the day for a half hour to an hour, 45 minutes sets that you guys do.
I hope that's the outcome. Yeah, I've realized that like not a lot of comics or that I talk to were like the boys or like the class clowny type though. You're right. It is kind of like more quiet people observing stuff, I guess, and then saying it. Um, I'm always happy that like people can enjoy a set. I found that like I think that a lot of comics it's more self-serving in the primary goal of like, okay, yes, it makes other people feel good, but I think a lot of people are performing, probably myself included, just to like because we're addicted to the thrill of that getting that pop. And like I've seen a few comics and they're always talking about like, oh, this is my gift to the crowd is laughter. And it always comes across as sort of pretentious, at least on our level, like where it's not like somebody who's selling out arenas or whatever. It'll be just like somebody else you see on a weekly basis, and they'll be like, I'm giving my gift to the world. And all right, dude. But I'm very glad that like that can be a side effect. I do think that the motivation, at least for the majority of the people I've talked to, is more self-serving. And I don't think that's a bad thing per se. I think that's just what it is because like I feel like you'd have to be altruistic as hell to night in and night out do like open mics and everything and then go through a bunch of bullshit just to be like, I'm spreading joy to the world. At least that's my perspective on it. Maybe some people are doing it to make others feel better, but I think for a lot of the part, it feeds the ego for themselves, probably.
Absolutely. And you can kind of tell the audience kind of reacts differently to those individuals. Those individuals tend to get less of a reaction
Mhm.
than the people who are doing it just because they love to do it.
Uh-huh.
So, which actually kind of brings me to my last question for you today. With all the shows that you have been getting, is there any show or joke that you've regretted performing?
Oh, interesting. I don't really get out of my box of what like things that would be out of character for me to say. So there's nothing in terms of like things I've said that like I regret. It's more just like, oh, I thought that was funny and it bombed like crazy, sort
Okay.
of. But like I don't get out of character in terms of like I'm the type of person where if I know that I've hurt somebody's feelings even slightly in conversation, I will ruminate on that for like the next 2 weeks. So I just kind of have steered away from things that I think would potentially even hurt people. And that like would be the things that I would regret saying the most. So I haven't really had anything where I can definitively be like, shouldn't have said that, regret that a lot. Um,
Okay.
but I have had plenty of jokes that I thought would be funny and I went all in on, and then I was like, oh, that wasn't funny at all. And that
Oh, no.
So there's that kind of regret, but like, I mean, that just rolls off the shoulders. It should. I mean, the car ride home is rough. Listening to the recording of the set is rough on the ride home, but like after that, the regret kind of dies down and it becomes like a funny story of like, can you believe I thought that was funny? And you get to laugh about it, but like nothing where I'm like, oh, I still don't like talking about the incident. Like there's nothing like that that I guess regret saying.
Okay. Was there ever a show that you regretted like going to or being a part of?
Um, in what way? Like in terms of like who I was associating with or what? Or like how do you mean?
I guess in terms of who you were associating with or like the venue or like overall, like was there ever a show where you like regretted going to or it didn't pan out the way you thought it was going to?
In terms of venue, yes, some places are just set up where you know it's not gonna go well, and you're like, I knew this going in, and I still went, and it sucked. And if I was right about that, but I still did it to myself, sort of thing. Absolutely. Like sometimes you'll be going to a place where they don't even, I mean, this happens less now, but like you'll go to a place where they don't even know comedy's about to happen. And you're like, why did I say yes to this? Because I knew this was going to be the scenario. And so those are kind of brutal. And after a certain, like there's a kind of like two camps in my head. One is like, oh, you say yes to every show and you can't stop saying yes to things that you know might be like messed up situations because that's how you get better. But
Right.
on the other side, some of those car rides home, I'm like, I didn't get better from that. That just sucked and made me dislike comedy a little bit for this day. Um, I've since kind of adopted like a hybrid view of it where like if this is a graph of like the higher up is the better you get at comedy. I feel like you have like your ceiling of like your best possible and your floor of your worst possible sets, and all your sets kind of fall somewhere in the middle. And I think great rooms can boost your confidence and show you what's possible and lift your ceiling of like how good you can possibly do. But some of those shitty rooms, they don't make you any better, but they make your worse less bad, I guess. So you learn how to maneuver in like a plate in a fucked up situation, and the bottom level of how bad you'll ever do gets a little higher, but you don't necessarily get better per se. I don't know, just how I view it.
You kind of learn not to sink to certain levels and you kind of learn how to swim above them.
Absolutely. That's well put.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like even if you're in a kind of a messed up situation, you know how to keep your composure and not let on that it's bad and fully crumble. So yeah.
100%. And you learn and you grow. You know,
Hmm.
that's what we're here for. We're here to learn and grow together.
Absolutely.
Well, Paul, I wanted to say thank you for coming on again. It was an honor having you back on. Of
Thanks for having me back. Always fun to talk.
course, man. And I hope we can have more sit-down chats as you continue to grow. And, I hope that you continue to grow and find success.
Likewise. And
All
thank you
right.
for having
You too, man. Thank you for hopping on. And you guys have a good night. Paul, have a good one.
me too, Sean.